Cats have lived inside our homes for thousands of years, but to this day, we understand very little about what actually goes on in their heads. Unlike dogs, which were genetically molded to obey, cats came to us almost the same way they were in the wild. And that means one thing: everything they do, even inside an apartment, still carries pure instinct. Today we are going to understand how a cat's mind really works, why they act the way they act, and why, deep down, they remain a small predator disguised as a pet. 1. The cat is an efficient predator, even when sitting still. When a cat lies down for hours staring into space, it looks like they are doing nothing, but biologically, they are conserving energy. In the wild, hunting requires short, intense bursts of effort, and a cat's body is built exactly for that. They weren't made to run long distances like a dog. They were made to stay still, observe, calculate, and attack in just a few seconds. Because of this, even when sleeping, their brain never completely switches off this alert mode. Any sudden movement, any unfamiliar sound, and they are already on their feet, ready to react. 2. Why cats are so afraid of seemingly silly things. A cucumber, a plastic bag, a strange shadow, all of this can scare a cat instantly. This is neither exaggeration nor fragility. In the wild, any new and unexpected object close to the body can represent a real threat, like a snake or a larger predator. A cat's brain is programmed to react first and think later, because hesitating in the wild can mean dying. So when your cat jumps in fright over something silly, they aren't being dramatic. They are following a survival system that has existed for millions of years and remains active even inside a completely safe place. 3. A cat's independence is actually a survival instinct. Many people interpret cats as cold or distant animals, but that is a misunderstanding of the species. In the wild, cats are solitary. Unlike wolves, which live in groups and depend on the pack to survive, cats have always needed to fend for themselves. This means that hiding pain, hiding fragility, and always appearing in control is a matter of survival, not personality. A sick cat, for example, tends to hide their suffering until the last possible moment, because showing fragility in the wild attracts predators. This explains why we often only notice something is wrong when it's already at an advanced stage. 4. Cat sleep isn't laziness, it's strategy. Cats sleep an average of 12 to 16 hours a day, and in some cases, it can reach 20 hours. This might seem like an exaggeration, but it makes biological sense. Since they are predators that rely on quick bursts of energy, they need to recharge constantly. Furthermore, a large part of this sleep is light, not deep, which means they remain partially alert even while resting. That is why a cat can be completely relaxed and, seconds later, be on their feet reacting to something. Their sleep is built to conserve energy without ever completely losing control of the environment. 5. Cats communicate all the time, just in a subtle way. Most people think cats only communicate by meowing, but that is only a fraction of their actual communication. Meowing, in fact, is a sound that adult cats practically never use with each other. It is a form of communication they developed specifically to interact with humans. Between themselves, communication happens through scent, body posture, ear position, and tail movement. Every slight change in body position carries information. Ears forward, curiosity. Ears back, alert or discomfort. Tail moving quickly, growing irritation. Learning to notice these details completely changes how you understand your cat. 6. Purring is more complex than it seems. For a long time, purring was only associated with moments of happiness. But research shows that cats also purring when they are stressed, in pain, or even during labor. The most widely accepted theory today is that purring has a self-regulating function. The frequency of the vibration can help heal tissue and bones, as well as release substances that reduce anxiety. In other words, when a cat purrs, they aren't necessarily saying, "I'm happy." They might be saying, "I'm trying to calm myself down," or even, "I'm suffering, but I need to keep myself stable." 7. Territory is a cat's emotional foundation. Unlike dogs, which build emotional security primarily through social bonds, cats build emotional security through territory. This explains why sudden changes in the environment, a renovation, moving houses, new furniture can leave a cat visibly stressed, even if nothing bad has happened to them directly. Space, to a cat, is an extension of their own identity. That's why they mark territory with their body, their claws, and even simply by occupying a spot repeatedly. When they choose to always sleep in the same place, it's not a random habit, it's control over the environment. 8. Cats understand much more than they show. Animal behavior studies show that cats can recognize their owner's voice among unfamiliar voices, and even identify changes in human tone of voice. They also demonstrate sensitivity to the emotional states of the people around them, adjusting their behavior accordingly. The difference between a cat and a dog on this point isn't cognitive capacity, it's the way they express it. A dog shows understanding, obviously, and immediately. A cat processes, observes, and only reacts when they consider it necessary. This makes it seem like they understand less, when in reality, they just choose when it's worth reacting. 9. The relationship between cats and humans is actually a mutual choice. Unlike most domesticated animals, which were genetically molded by intentional human selection, cats practically domesticated themselves. They approached humans because food and shelter were available, and they became more tolerant of human presence over generations. This means that, biologically, a domestic cat is still extremely similar to a wild cat. The difference lies much more in learned behavior than in genetics. And maybe that's exactly why a cat's affection feels so valuable, because deep down, they don't need you to survive. They choose to be there anyway. Understanding a cat requires a little more attention than understanding a dog, because their language is quieter, more subtle, and built upon millions of years of survival instinct. Every strange behavior, every exaggerated reaction, every moment of distance has a logic behind it. And when you start to see that logic, your relationship with your cat changes completely. You stop interpreting them as a difficult animal and start to understand that you are dealing with a small, intelligent, independent predator that decided, on their own, to be a part of your life.